Hey, hey, we live, y'all. Give y'all a little intro music. I don't know if y'all can hear it. I hope you can. Welcome to the Grio Lounge. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Um, this is my Halloween costume. No, no, but I'm wearing glasses for a reason. But I want to thank you all for tuning into the Grio Lounge tonight. Is going to be a little bit of a potpourri because I have to say that my guest, the beautiful Alischa Gwin-White, will not be here because she had some difficulties. She's like such a superwoman. She does everything. And she got too busy and she just got out the well, I won't tell her business. But anyway, she won't be joining us today. Hopefully next week she'll be joining us. But to all those that celebrate Halloween, happy Hallows Eve. Who am I? I'm a DJ. That's who I am today. I'm DJ Defcom One, also known as Kanye East. That's who I am today. But anyone, welcome to the show. We were going to talk about surviving patriarchy. Uh, we're doing a lot of different series on survival series, because as women, that's the first thing that we think of. We always think of survival. We always in survival mode. That's what we do. That's why we do what we do, because we're the natural caretakers of this planet, and we have to be the natural nurturers, the givers, the cultivators and all of those things, because we are the creators. Uh the I just saw one of my sister friends that I like to support explain to a gentleman about creativity, because he seemed to think that men created everything, they built everything, da 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 da. But he did not understand that, initially the original creators were the I'm having some issues with my Wi-Fi. My screen just went black. But anyway, I'm back on. And just give it up for me. You know, I'm here. I'm here. I don't know if y'all heard my sound effects. I'm hoping that I'm connected very well. If not, then I apologize. I have this new system, the Mayano light system. It's a podcasting station monitor, and I'm just learning how to hook it up. So y'all gotta bear with me. Y'all gotta bear with me. Uh it's not difficult, but you have to really, have patience when you're dealing with this system. So anyway, I was gonna do some things about patriarchy. We were gonna talk about that. But unfortunately my guest is not here. We're gonna tell our stories. But just in case if you're listening, surviving patriarchy, exposing it more, is something that a lot of women are starting to, pay attention to, and they're starting to get their power back, because we've been under patriarchal rule, which most men will deny. They'll only go so far with it. They'll say, "Oh, this is," but James Brown sang about it. He said, "What did he say, Mama? It's a man's world." Right. So it's a man's world. Everything in this world is dedicated more so to men, to attract women, because women, they need women. And they always tell us, you need a man, you need a man. As soon as we say we don't need a man, as soon as we say that we're independent about anything, that's a problem. That's a problem, because men want to be needed, and it's just a reality that it is. It's just a reality. Men want to be needed. And when women say we don't need you, and even there's even some women who will go so far to say the same thing. Oh, we need a man. We need a man. Yeah, we do for certain things, but I won't say need. I would say it's natural. But a lot of women have decided that they don't want to depend on a man. I'm gonna tell you a secret. I ain't gonna tell you a secret. My mama sitting right here. She told me and my sister when we were growing up. And you can't take away the experiences that women had all over the globe. We ain't talking about just in this country. All over the world, women have had, issues with being suppressed and under patriarchal rule, because it's like you supposed to have the babies, take care of the household, this, that, and the other. And we've done that for so long, and we're tired of being, um, not accepted for what we really who we really are. We're not, domesticated concubines. We are people who's supposed to move and shake this world. But they took that power away from us and during the patriarchy rule. And they got books about it. They got a whole library about this shit. So it's hard for me to say that, a man don't know that we're under their rule because there's so much proof. The number one proof that we're under patriarchal rule is that book y'all call the Holy Bible. The first chapter it tells you, we pulling this woman out of the man's rib. And a lot of men, a lot of men who are not, awakened, they seem to co-sign with that. Like y'all came from our rib. We created y'all. But where the fuck did you come from? If you say God created you, you're basically saying you're a pile of dirt, you're a pile of shit. Because according to the Bible, that's where you came from. God fashioned man after the dirt, the soil of the earth, and blew his breath into him. Y'all really ain't shit. And then we came from your rib. That means we less than shit. Because that's how it's been, promoted. That's how it's been taught. And that's the perception. I was talking to a brother today. And I love this brother. We've been knowing each other for a long time. He said the same thing. So you don't think you came from my rib? And I said, where did you come from? That kind of ended the conversation right there. Because if I came from a rib, where you come from? God's loins? When has there ever been a situation where men gave birth? They are now because they hate us so much. They're giving these men artificial wombs. They want to be us. They hate us because they want to be us. That ruffles a lot of feathers. Say that. Say that. No, they don't bleed, but they talk about us. And the men that's transitioning into women, they're disrespectful to us. And I have to say to them when they start talking about how they gonna take our men, how they love fake pussies and their, juicy assholes are going to attract more men. That which brings me to another point that men love ass too much that they'll fuck anything, a dog included. But anyway, um, you know, um, they're trying to take our roles, but yet they talk so much shit. You ever heard a transgender or a gay or femme or whatever they call it? They got their own different names because they had to create shit because it just didn't exist. So they put themselves into our world and they say shit like "I take your man," this is that and the other. At some point, that's what it's gonna go down to. At some point, that's what it's going to come to because women are finding their voice, they're taking their power back. And the fact that sisters out here empowering people, that is one sister, the Queen Maker, Princella, Pastor Princella, she's been encouraging women to empower other women because we were in competition for the wrong reasons. And she's absolutely right. We're in competition for penis and money. And we think that we have to have the best WAP to get the dude. We should not be competing, sisters. We ought to be empowering each other, you know. But back to what I was saying, ever since I was a young woman, my mother, who had her experiences with men, including my father, including her father, and her, brothers and uncles and people she grew up with, she's always told us, she said, a woman needs to have her own. She didn't raise us to be, totally independent. She raised us to be not dependent on anybody. Not another bitch, not another nigga. We're not to be dependent on that. Keep your own shit. She said, even if you're married, you need to keep a separate bank account. If she would have had her own bank account when things got rough with at home with my father, she would, have not have struggled. The reality is, how do you put an end to the bullshit? You keep your own money. Now that raises a problem with a lot of men because they think that's being too independent. I don't need a man. What do you tell your daughters? Because most men I know, I've heard them tell their daughters, baby girl, don't depend on a nigga for shit. Cause they know they ain't shit. I mean, not in that respect, and I won't say all men. I hate that I gotta say that. Y'all know I'm not talking about all men. But a lot of them are not shit, just like women. We have the same thing. We got wrong, we deal with situations and relationships stupidly too. All because we're the way we were taught, the way we were raised in this patriarchal system. Everything has a root cause. You can say all day what men have done in this world and what women have done in this world, but you will not give credit to the fact you wouldn't have done shit if some woman didn't push you through her legs. You up here, y'all complain about women all the time. Everything is our fault. We have to take responsibility for birthing patriarchy. We gave birth to patriarchal rule. We birthed these niggas and we let them change the game, and we did not put our foot down on their necks and say, no, we're gonna keep balance. There will be some balance in this, you know, relationship, but you need to recognize that we're not here to cater to you. And women are being taught that that's what you're supposed to do. They got songs about catering to you. Listen, that's not our job. That's your mama job. Let your mama cater to you. And then she better cut it off at some point, because if she don't, that man gonna be looking for a woman to do the same thing his mama did. Excuse me, my allergies are messing up. That's another reason why I got these glasses on. Let me tell the truth. My eyes is watering, my sinus is watering. There's so much allergies, and it looked like somebody beat me the fuck up in my face. I'll pull this down real quick just so y'all can see, but I'm pulling it back up. I'm not playing. These allergies, whatever it is, it's something in the air. I don't know what it is. It's either something in the air. Maybe my vents need to be clean. I might need to get my vents vacuumed out, which I haven't done since I've been in this house. I've been in this house for a few years. So I need to get these vents cleaned out because it's something that's really, really aggravating me. I'm allergic to dust. And even though I don't see dust, it's probably coming out the vents. It's probably coming from outside pollutions and all that kind of stuff. It's got me really, really fucked up right now. So anyway, we're going to be talking more about and exposing patriarchal rule, because if you want to blame women for everything, you have to go to the source. You have to go to the source of why we are the way we are and why we're trying to correct that. But you men don't want to lose your place in this patriarchal world. So, um, on that note, we're going to try to move around because I don't have my guests here to talk about patriarchal rule and how it is the tables are turning back. This was a matriarchal planet. It sounded like somebody came in my door. Oh, this is a this is a matriarchal planet. Women, we've been put in a really, subservient, submissive state, and if women don't submit, then that's a problem. And in my opinion, don't nobody need to submit to nothing. You submit to your career, you submit to your objective and what you're trying to problems you're trying to solve. But I don't think we should be submitting to another human being for shit. And when I say that, men have a problem with it. Well, man, what the husband's supposed to submit to the wife too, just like God wants you. I said, listen, when you submit to anything outside of yourself, you really shortchanging yourself to please somebody else or please something else. Don't submit to shit. You lose your mortality. You lose a part of who you are because you have to bury that to accommodate somebody else, to accommodate another motherfucker. Submission means to, when you think of the word sub, what does it come to mind? Below. And you guys are like, nah, that's not, that's exactly what it means. Go look it up. When you submit yourself, you're pushing yourself below standards. And for some reason, men have got comfortable in that notion, so did a lot of women. That's why they're not happy. That's why people can say, "Man, I saw my mama deal with this, deal with that." Yeah, because that she was under the impression that submission was the key. I'm telling you, nobody needs to submit. I know y'all Christian folk, y'all religious folk, gonna say, "I submit to the will of God." Da 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 da. Da." You lose your mortality, baby, because that means you're beneath, and y'all okay with that. That's what ruined my self esteem because I thought that I wasn't good enough. because the Bible said you ain't nothing but a filthy rag in the eye of the Lord. Then I found out what the rag was. He talking about a woman's menstrual cycle thing. That's what they called it back then, a rag. She on a rag. That's another thing these transgenderists be talking about. Y'all bleed, and when y'all bleed, them 7 days y'all bleeding, we could take your man. If you could take my man because my man could not wait till I got off my cycle, you could have him, honey. And that's what it's gonna boil down to. A lot of these women, when they start standing up for themselves, the men that's trying to take our place, they gonna take their place. They gonna slide up in there and be like, "I'll do what you want me to do, daddy." Let me see if my uh pitch control work. I do what you want me to do, daddy. I do it. I do it. I want to did that work. I gotta do the playback. It didn't do it last week, but we'll see. This is the male voice, but anyway. Let's go back to this. So anyway, yeah, y'all gonna be getting y'all already being scouted out for all those men that's been putting women down and y'all talking about y'all straight and y'all talking about, we this and we that. We damned if we do, damned if we don't. Y'all say, well, y'all independent, y'all don't need a man. You mad about that? Then you say we gold digging because you want somebody with some money. Now we gold digging. We can't please you motherfuckers. We never have been able to please y'all except with the pussy. That's the only thing that make y'all happy. And that's a low vibrational form to be in. So y'all got a lot of nerves talking shit when you can't get past trying to get your dick sucked or up in somebody's guts, like y'all say. You know. So anyway, I'm gonna hold that for the next show that we have. I'm gonna hold that for the next show that we have. And I want to just, it is Halloween, so I was trying to think of some spooky shit to talk about. But the thing is, I don't watch a lot of scary shit, demonic shit. I don't watch a lot of that stuff. I never really did. The most I got far as spookiness goes was uh Jason and Halloween. Was that the same thing? Halloween, Michael Myers, Nightmare on Elm Street, and the Jason dude, that was as far as I went with it. I watched some other horror movies back in the day, which is why I stopped watching those demonic type of horror movies with all the zombies and demons and vampires and werewolves and shit like that. Man, y'all can have that shit, okay? Because that's that. I watched one of those and I'm sleeping with every light on in the house. But people like that shit. Um, so I can't really talk about those movies, and I'm not a great uh, you know, uh connoisseur of horror. So I'm limited as how I can scare somebody. I don't have those kind of DNA. I don't have that in my DNA. But it's interesting though. Excuse me, I told you my sinuses and my allergies is bad. It's interesting though because um Hollywood created horror for I forgot the reason why they created horror. Someone said it was part of the desensitizing program that they do to desensitize you to seeing blood and gore. And a lot of people are desensitized to it. I still, uh, you know, I still choke when I see certain things in movies, even if it's not a horror movie. I don't like seeing blood, gunshot wounds, people head being blowed off, and the people being stabbed with knives. I can tolerate it, but I don't like to see that shit. And a lot of people are desensitized to it, which is why somebody could actually take a knife and gut somebody. They done seen it so many times in these horror movies, it doesn't phase them. You know what I mean? And that's part of what Hollywood does. And another thing is to make children less, you know, afraid of adults that's capable of killing them and shit like that. There's a science to this. There's a whole science to horror. It down to the fact of this programming, this broadcast programming, down to the fact of the colors that we use, primary colors for children. You know how when you buy children certain character sheets and pillowcases and things like that, they hold comforter sets. There's a science to that too that's very, very wicked, and we think that it helps the kid, feel comfy in their home. But if you notice, when most kids, a lot of kids, when they first start sleeping on their own by themselves, after they got big enough to get out the crib and get their own little bed or whatnot, they begin to they first thing is they're afraid. And some of the reason why they're afraid is because they have the stimuli. All those cartoon characters and things provide a certain stimulation. That's I can't really get into the details of it because I didn't really study that much of it. I just happened to hear some conversations based on that. And it sounded like real wild because I was mad because I was like, well, shit, my son had, Spider-Man, characters in his room. He had like sheet, the comforters. He had probably about 20 different Spider-Man or more. At least I think I counted 30 Spider-Man pajamas. He had the whole pajamas with the feet in them. He had the and for a minute he slept in his Halloween costume. He was Spider-Man for Halloween at least 3 or 4 times. He was a big Spider-Man fan. And so he grew up with Spider-Man in his room, and I didn't really know we don't know shit in this patriarchal system that we did not create. We don't know why they do the things. And since men want to take credit for either being or not being patriarchal, the shit that's messing us up is based on that rule. Men make the laws, they make the shit and products that harm us. Y'all say, well, men invented this and man invented that, but is it beneficial to us? Can we live forever off those inventions? But don't act like it wasn't a woman that pushed your ass into this world. That's what you're supposed to do. Ain't the Bible say that a man's supposed to labor all the days of his life? Excuse me. Don't the Bible say that the man, after they ate that fruit, don't it say the man have to labor all the days of his life? So why y'all complaining? But we're not supposed to acquire our own wealth. We're not supposed to do that when the wealth is generally passed down, was initially passed down through the matriarch. You couldn't claim land unless it was passed down to you through the mother. Not your daddy's side, your mama's side. But this is not a patriarchal world, though. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, and it's a thing a lot of men are finding hard to admit to. See, when y'all let Kevin Samuels build you up and look at us and talking about high value this, high value that, why is there a value on anything in this world? Because some man said so. They own the banks, they own the money. In fact, if you don't believe this is a patriarchal world, the money that y'all work for, y'all labor for, y'all sweat for, the money that y'all keep saying women is gold digging your ass for, and you want to say this ain't man's problem, and I said this is a man's world, look at the faces on your money. I bet there ain't a man alive that could tell you every last white president that's on the face of that money. I bet you they know what white male face is on a $5 bill, a $1 bill, a $10 bill, a $20 bill, a $50 bill, a $100 bill, a $1,000 bill. They know what faces are on those bills. They made songs about it. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. What y'all want to be ballers? Shaq call. I'm saying y'all wrote the script on patriarchy. There's a whole library dedicated to this mess. And now, because every 25,000 or 52,000 years, the earth goes through a cycle. If you want to control human beings for the next 25,000 years, now is the time to make your manifest destiny. Now is the time to write your destiny in the Bible, in the book, because that's how it's going to stand. Once you take that and make that your destiny, it's going to manifest. That's why we under patriarchal rule now. Patriarchal rule involves corruption on every end of it that they don't want to take accountability for. We women don't lodge wars with other countries. Y'all created war. Y'all built these bombs, these guns, these all these weapons of mass destruction were created by the minds of a man. Their whole goal is to control so they can get access to the pussy. Y'all be surprised at the wars that's fought. Y'all think they fought for money and land and power. What's the first thing they do when they conquer your world? Don't they take your women? How do we all get light skinned in this bitch? If we always supposed to be melanated and copper colored and whatever. Somebody came and conquered us and they took control of the women. So don't talk about it ain't no patriarchal world. A couple of men don't think that. They don't think patriarchy exists. They think it exists in other countries. It do. And women all over the world have experienced and have been under that rule. Anytime anybody can make a law that tells you that you have to cut the woman's clitoris at birth so that she don't experience what it feels like to have sex because her only purpose is to give and have babies. And then you got countries that have destroyed at birth female babies. They wanted to have more men babies because they thought that that was what and they threw everything off balance. I get uh the details of the psychology of it uh from the sister I told you about, Princella. Y'all need to check her out, ladies. Men, you wouldn't last a day over there in her channel. Don't even think about it. But sisters, if you're watching, check her out. Uh I just like her message. And before I found out who she was, in fact, the one that was supposed to be the guest on the show tonight, she put me up on her because she said, y'all sounded like y'all say the same thing. Y'all believe because I've been on this shit for a minute. I just don't talk about it because it's very hard to talk about when you got a bunch of Christian women who uphold these principles. They don't want me to say shit. I know women that done wrote books about dating and all this kind of stuff under this patriarchal rule. And I don't agree with that shit. I don't agree with none of it because it was not written by us in the beginning. We're following advice that was written by I used to say crack a book of morals. We're following advice from the crack a book of morals. They are experts on patriarchy because they control this system. They control this system. Those crackers are experts in patriarchal, rule. That's why you don't see a lot of black men patriarchy in the power position because they control that shit. And you ain't never seen a woman as a president or in some of these other high political positions. There's a few women that's been around in the, Congress seat. There's a few women floating around, these Pelosi's and what's her name? Maxine Waters and all of these other. It's a few of them floating around that's in politics, but they ain't never held no high position seat. They don't make no laws. They don't pass no laws. So for y'all to say this ain't patriarchal world, y'all got some soul searching to do. But the roles are reversed. Everything in this world reversed. Even the men who teach that the knowledge and everything is reversed, they won't even acknowledge that this is the problem. Y'all off your square. You're out of place. You're out of line, and so are we. We're just trying to get our place back by empowering each other to stop the bullshit. What y'all gonna do when y'all find out that women are not competing each other for some of y'all penis? What are y'all gonna do when that happens? Right. The alphabet men are going to be knocking on your door and in your DMs because y'all don't want to humble yourselves and let us be this balance back. The fact that we are raised that you got to get a man, you got to get married, you got to get a man of God, that's that, and the other. it kind of messed us up because our stories and what we dealt with is fucked up. And just like I've heard the story, just like a lot of women and even some men, I said the same thing: choose better. Then I decided that every choice that we make at that moment is the best choice for us because it's what we decided to want. And for many of us, it's what we decided to compromise. So now we have a breakdown in the mentality of men. They're talking about how depressed they are, how this is that they are because they don't have a woman, they don't have a high value woman, and women don't look at them and want them. And I'm like, that just sound like some little kid shit. That sound like y'all need us. You depressed because there's no safe place for men. Y'all taught to be strong. Y'all taught not to cry. Y'all taught to this is just the other. Meanwhile, women get to cry and talk shit and da 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 da. Maybe the thing was that maybe that was a thing, but that's so minimal. Just because your mama said, "Boy, don't cry," why you can't go under your bed and in your closet and cry? Well, can't nobody see you? That's so minute that when I hear men complain about that, we don't get to cry. Listen, your mama cried for you every single night. She cried every time y'all daddy, she cried. And in some cases, some men didn't ever let their kids didn't let their kids see them cry. My mama didn't. I didn't even think my mama had tear ducts. She never let us see her cry. But she didn't raise us telling us that y'all better not cry. Y'all better not, y'all better be strong. She might have said be strong, but she never said don't let a tear drop. So I don't think that every woman has told their sons, "Don't you cry, don't you cry." When my son was little, I told him that shit out in public because I don't want to smack you. You not finna scream out here and have a temper tantrum. You better shut your mouth and fix your face. But we was at home, you can cry if I hit you. You can cry if you get a spanking. You can even cry if your feelings hurt, but you're not finna cry because you can't have your way. That's the only thing I told my son, to shut up and stop crying about it because he can't have his way. That's the only thing I said to him for him not to do. But if you get your feelings hurt, yeah, you might want to shed a tear. If I'm beating your ass, yeah, I'm not gonna tell you not to cry. You better cry because if you don't, I'm gonna hit you a little harder. Let me shut up because somebody gonna swear it's child abuse. My son is 22 years old, so you can report me if you want to. He probably only got on my hand. He probably only got 5 whoopings in his whole life. He wasn't impossible to deal with. But when y'all say y'all don't get to cry, y'all don't get to show emotion, so y'all feel good crying on your homeboy's couch and on your homeboy's shoulder because you think women got ain't I don't know too many women that won't let you cry. Because y'all call us emotional, that means we have sympathy and empathy for anybody that's crying. So I'm trying to figure out where did that situation come from? I don't know what woman wouldn't because I've seen way too many people and I've read too many stories and I've seen too and in my experience, I've had men cry on my lap and on my shoulder. And it wasn't a time that I thought anything less of them. I felt glad that I was there when they needed me at that time. I wasn't there to say, "Man, shut your ass up, you bitch." Oh, bitch ass crying. I never did that. I'm not saying women haven't done it. I'm just saying I want to talk to those women that did that, that did that. I want to talk to you and find out you know, why did you do that to, you know, to these men? So the breakdown of their psychology and their mental state is prevalent because a lot of men are talking about the fact that a lot of men don't go see therapists because it's looked as a sign of weakness, even though they're male therapists. My last therapist was a male. I haven't heard from him in a while, but he was a male and he was a really good therapist. Listen, brothers, if you need to go to get therapy, get some therapy. If you don't trust these therapists to be, private or whatever, find you a holistic therapist. It's going to cost you a little more because your insurance probably won't cover it. But find you somebody who a spiritual therapist, find somebody who you can trust to talk to. If you think that everybody's out to expose you for being weak, nobody's gonna expose you for being weak. There's nothing more attractive than a humble man. So I've heard, the fact that we always look for the big, brawly, masculine, manly man, alpha man types. Let me tell you something. I don't want an alpha man. I don't want a beta man. I was told by men that alpha and beta represent letters in the Greek alphabet. And Greek culture is homosexual, pedophilic all the way around. Alpha means top male, beta means bottom. So I don't want an alpha man, I don't want a bottom man, I don't want a beta man, I want a top or a bottom. Unless it's referring to women, I mean to men having, excuse me, between a woman and a man. Ooh, I get the I need that was, just I just killed the message right there. I just killed the message right there. I just, that was kind of bad. So so anyway, listen, I went past my mark by 6 minutes. I'm going to try to get to my and where's my mouse button? My mouse button ain't working on this no more. Where we at? Where we at? Okay, I don't see it. It's not on it. Oh, there we go. There we go. There you go. Because my green screen. So yeah. All right, there we go. And I was supposed to play my sponsor thing. I was supposed to have that all queued up or whatnot. And I didn't. So yeah. No, I don't want to exit layout. Okay, I don't know why I can't uh okay, I don't know what's going on with this. Um I don't know what's going on with this. I was trying to play my sponsorship reel because of all right, I'm sorry, y'all. I just clicked the wrong thing because I'm trying to um share my reel. Okay, here we go. Y'all have to forgive me because I'm just a little bit oof. And I have to update this reel as well because uh it's got some old things on it.
born in confusion, raised by fury. Since my conception, I've been tried by judge and jury. Under a microscope, my life's been dissected. Pulled apart, torn in every direction from haters, watching. Everything I do and everything I say, trying to figure out why I live my life the way I choose. You don't understand my steps. Ain't lose. So you don't know what I know and you ain't been where I've been. I stepped in darkness and fought the devil in his den.
Oh yeah, my microphone was muted. I'm glad wasn't nobody watching because they wouldn't. The y'all. I wish somebody was. Y'all should have told me. I'm up here. Y'all couldn't hear me. I was trying to tell you that the video, my trailer, that was my trailer. I'm debuting tomorrow at 7:30. My documentary, Damaged Goods, the story of an injured goddess. That's gonna debut tomorrow, which is Halloween at 7:30, right here on StreamYard, also on Facebook and YouTube. So you can if you want to be a guest, you want to have question and answer at the end. We're gonna have question and answer. I'm hoping I can have my producer on. I gotta call him to see if he's available because tomorrow is Halloween. He might be taking his daughter trick or treating or to a Halloween party, or he, I don't know, he might be busy, but I'm gonna at least see if he has some time where he can just call in and just chime in a little minute and tell people, the purpose why he decided to do this. It's not easy living with MS or any other autoimmune illness. But this is part one because after and during the time we made that, there was a lot of new information that came to me about the cause of MS. So I didn't go deep into the cause. I went through surface stuff. I have to really watch what I say, but all in all, it's for entertainment purposes. You could take what you want from it, and do the research behind it. But it's just me explaining what I've done, what I've dealt with over the past years of dealing with this and how it's affected me, how it's affected my family, and what's next. So y'all want to check that out. Y'all want to tune in tomorrow, man. You got to tune in tomorrow. And the trailer was supposed to been playing my poem, but it didn't play. So I was trying. I'm gonna try to play this again and see if it play. Give me a second.
I'm a sinner, yet I'm saved by grace. But every time I stand up, I end up flat on my face. I've been aggravated, separated, outraged, and denied. A river runs through the desert from the tears that I've cried. Alone, nearly forgotten. So why move on? Only to win at losing and struggle to stay strong. But I'm weak and I'm drowning.
It ain't gonna play right.
But then I begin to wonder how I still get up fighting after my
Okay, we're gonna leave it right there. It's not playing. It's not playing correctly. I don't know what it is. It might be my SD card it came from. I don't know what the problem is. But the poem that was on there was it was wrote it back in, I think it was 2009, and it was kind of a, commemoration of what I'm dealing with MS. It's called MS Lady, and it goes something like this. I was born in confusion, raised by fury. Since my conception, I've been tried by judge and jury. Under a microscope, my life's been dissected, pulled apart, torn in every direction from haters, watching everything I do and everything I say, trying to figure out why I live the way I choose. Y'all don't understand. My steps are ordered so I can't lose. So you don't know what I know, and you ain't been where I've been. I stepped in darkness and fought the devil in his den. I was a sinner, but I was saved by grace. But every time I stood strong, I ended up flat on my face. I'm weak. I'm drowning. But then I began to wonder how I still get up fighting after my head's been under. Water, fire. The devil's a liar trying to get me to give up, telling me life with MS is too tough. Get off my back, devil, because I had enough. Oh, I forgot a part. I forgot a part on there. I just thought about it. Anyway, I'll do it again tomorrow. But y'all get to see it tomorrow. But don't forget, share this video, tell people to check in. If you know somebody with MS, they might want to check this out. They might want to check this out. It is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a doctor, but I live this shit for a long time. And it's my time to tell my story. Because if I leave up out of here without people knowing what I went through and what to expect with this world and this pharmaceutical and modern medical industry, it's gonna be messed up, right? So yeah. So anyway, I don't have no spooky stories to tell. I told them on other podcasts. I'm just trying to think of a spooky story. I'll tell this story again, y'all. I'm gonna tell this story again. Um, let's see if I can get some spooky music. Let's see if I can get some spooky music. Yeah. Uh, na, 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 na. Uh, uh, I don't think I had none. Let's see if it let's see if we can play this. Not that. All right. I don't know if y'all can hear that. All right, so one time when I was a teenager, I used to have excuse me, I cut it down too loud. I used to have this boyfriend that I was so in love with, and he used to work two jobs. And his second job, he used to get out of work sometime at 2:30 in the morning. Well, he didn't have a car, so you know he didn't um he didn't always get a bus, and sometimes he would walk, and he would walk for like miles to get home. You know, and excuse me, not that one. We don't need that one. I picked the wrong one. So he would walk for miles to get home, and sometimes he would get home at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. But he always called me to let me know that he had made it home because Detroit streets, man, whatever. So this one particular time, I just had a bad feeling about something. I said, "Well, I'll wait till 2 o'clock before I ask my sister to get her ass off the phone so I can use the phone." We didn't have cell phones back then. So my sister was on the phone talking to her boyfriend, and 2 o'clock came. I didn't hear from him. So I knocked on the door. I said, "Did he call?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "Can I use the phone?" She was like, "I'm about to get off. Give me a minute." She stayed on the phone for about another half hour, whatever, till I went back in. I was like, "I need to call him. Something not right." I had this feeling that something wasn't right. I just had this weird feeling that something wasn't right, and she wouldn't get off the phone. So I had went and told my mom, I said, "Mama, she won't get off the phone. I need to call him to make sure he's okay. I just got a feeling that something's not right. Something's not right." And so she went in there and told my mom, the first time I called, there was no answer. I called back. His mother got up and she was asleep. She got out of her sleep, answered the phone. And of course she was pissed. She's pissed. She was like, "Hello." And I was like, "I'm sorry to call you so late, Miss Martin, but I wanted to know if I could speak to Darnell because I know he hasn't called me and I'm kind of worried because I haven't heard from him." I said, "Is he home?" And she said, "Let me go check." She, she used to sleep in his basement. So she went down, that was his room. She went down in the basement, I guess, and I was on the hold for a minute. Or either she called down the stairs, I don't know. But when she came back to the phone, she was like, "He's not here." And I was like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." I was like, "Okay, I knew something. I feel like something happened to him." I said, "Please tell him to call me as soon as he get in." And she was like, "Okay, but don't call here." She was from they was from Philadelphia. So she had this strong accent. She was like, "Don't call here this late anymore." And I was like, "I'm so sorry. I won't call that late anymore." I felt so bad. And after I got off the phone with him, I'm just like, for her, I'm just like having a fit. I'm, you know, just I went into a trance because I thought that I felt him dying. And I was just shaking and screaming and crying. My mama thought I was possessed. And she didn't know what to do. My sister, they thought that I was crazy. And I'm sitting up there screaming and hollering and like he's dying, he's dying. I can feel him, he's dying. Oh my God, he's dying, he's dying. And so my mama came by, she put her hands on me and she started praying. She started rebuking me because she thought I was possessed. But she said I was literally, she said it's like I levitated off the floor and my eyes were like bloodshot red. And she thought it was a demon. She thought I was possessed. And so she started praying for me and stuff. So after I finally calmed down, I was so exhausted. I was almost about to pass out. I made my way to the chair in the living room and I just collapsed. And I took the little stool, the little thing, and I put my feet up on it, the ottoman, and I just went into like a really deep sleep until about a little, maybe about a half hour later. The phone rang. It was about four something in the morning, and no, no, I'm sorry, no, it was about seven something in the morning. This time, I'm sorry, about seven something in the morning. The phone rings, and my mother answered it, and I kind of, woke up a little bit. My mother was like, "Oh my God, oh my God." She said, "Oh my God," and then when my mother asked her what time, she dropped the phone and she picked it up and she looked at me and she said, "That's what she was feeling." I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" I'm thinking again that it's my boyfriend. And my mother was like, she said, "Granny passed during the night." And my grandmother was actually, she was in the hospital, but she was expected to come home because she had suffered a stroke, a second stroke, and or either her she had a heart attack and then she had a stroke. And she was scheduled to come home that Tuesday. They said she was doing better. She was, eating and keeping her food down. She was, she was gonna need therapy and whatnot. She was gonna be bedbound until she got her strength back up. So I thought everything was okay. But that morning, the call came from my aunt, and she told my mother that my grandmother passed during the night. And my mother, when she asked what time, it was the exact time I was going through that. He's dying. He's dying. Oh my God, I could feel his death. I could feel it. I felt death. I felt somebody dying. That death passed through me. I absorbed it in that moment. It was the creepiest thing probably the creepiest thing at that time. I had many creepy things that, well, not many, but I had really unexplainable things that happened. Um, that was just weird. I was I freaked out a little bit for about maybe 5 minutes when I thought about it all. I was like, I can't believe I felt somebody dying and passing through me. It kind of it kind of blew my mind. And like I said, that's what I I was exhausted when that happened because I wasn't doing a whole lot. I mean, I don't remember what I was doing. My mama had to tell me what I was doing because I couldn't remember what I was exactly doing. I just knew I felt somebody's dying. I thought it was him. That day because I decided to go to school. My mom said, "You ain't got to go to school. I understand you want to stay home. You're not feeling like going to school." So I said, "Well, no, forget that. I'm going." So I was tired. I didn't get any sleep. So I was like, "No, I'm gonna go to school. I need to get out. I need to get some fresh air." So I might not stay. I told her that. I said I might not stay the full day, but I'm gonna go to school. And so I went to school, and I think it was right after lunch. Uh, it's the PA system. The secretary came on the PA and said, "I need Lynette White to report to the main office." And of course, the kids was like, "Oh, what happened?" I was like, shoot, I don't know." So I went on down to the main office and my boyfriend was on the phone. Like I said, we did not have cell phones, we had pay phones. But if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, they could call the office, of course. And he called the office. And they weren't happy about it because when they found it was my boyfriend, they was a little, you telling your boyfriend to call up here. What's wrong with you? This is for emergencies only, and a boyfriend is not an emergency. So I was like, "I'm sorry." I said, but he was worried about me. I said, "I just lost my grandmother, my great grandmother," and it was like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that." They apologized, but they was playing around anyway. They wasn't, real serious, but it was a little annoying because they had to stop their day to answer the phone and go get my ass out of class. But he was at home when his mother checked on him. He was there. She just didn't hear him, or he didn't hear her. He didn't respond when she called him, I guess. So she figured, well, he didn't respond. He not here. He said he was asleep. He said he got off work at 11 and he did have to walk. He walked partial home. And he said he's just tired. And he got off and he got home. He said he got home about 2 and he just collapsed. He went to sleep. He didn't call me. He said he apologized that he didn't call. So that was so weird. I don't know if anybody ever felt death go through them. It's a feeling that I will never, ever want to experience. So I I told that story to some people over the years and they said it was a gift. Baby, if that's a gift, I want to give it back. Can I return it? I want to return that gift. But that was kind of creepy. It was kind of creepy. It wasn't scary, but it was a creepy thing because my mother and them, they didn't know what was wrong with me. They thought I was possessed. But I couldn't even tell you what I was doing because I was in some kind of state of mind. It was one that was really fearful. There was a lot of fear and there was a lot of emotion. There was a lot of emotion. There was a lot of fear, emotion, and it was sad. It was death. It was pain. It was well, I didn't mean to play that. It was, it was just it was weird. And I never, ever, ever forget that. I'll never forget that. As long as I live, I'll never forget it. But I've had a lot of things that, because it took a long time before I even really knew what an empath was and what being empathic meant. Um, I didn't call myself empathic. Somebody else really did. And I just accepted the term because of the description of what people as empathic do. But I came to learn that most people have that, you know, they have it. They just haven't, really gotten in touch with it. There's been times where I know people have felt something and at that moment they felt it. They called the person that came across their mind. And then like, you know what? I just, you came across my mind. I was just calling, how are you doing? It's like, and they find out that this person's going through something. That's something that I think everybody have. Everybody has those abilities to pick up on, certain things. I think that it used to be stronger with us when before this broadcast signal that they, you know, this fake shit, this artificial shit that they created. I think our empathic abilities were great, were stronger. These frequencies they kind of block a lot. So for a person to still be very empathetic and carry a lot of um empathic, abilities in this realm, you're really, really powerful because most people don't know this blocked. Like I said, it used to be a time where we didn't have to call. We would we would, send thoughts through mental telepathy. If you wanted to see somebody or check on somebody and, somehow, some way it got to that person. And like the communicators on Star Trek, when all you gotta do is hit a button and be like, Mom. No, I was just saying, back in times where, because this technology always been here, we may have had some communicators where we just had to hit a button or, click a piece in our ear to communicate with somebody. Because that's what they have now. We don't have communicators, but we have earpieces and cell phones and Wi-Fi's and Bluetooths, and we can communicate with people uh, hands free. Um, so all you need is a microphone and an earpiece, and that's pretty much it. But no. So anyway, I'm looking at the time, and the time is winding down for me, and I didn't have my guest on here again. I apologize. She apologized. We're gonna reschedule it. You're definitely gonna get to see and hear her story of surviving patriarchy. So I'm gonna play this ad thing one more time, and then I'm gonna come back and give my last minute shouts, and then I'm at. All right, all right. Welcome back. So listen, I want to thank you all for tuning in, all one of you. We about to get up out of here. I want to really thank you. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 7:30 to see the documentary that y'all been waiting on. It's for 18 and over, or I'll say it's PG-13, but you know. So just come through and check me out tomorrow right here on the Grio Lounge. We gonna be live. We're gonna be streaming my documentary produced by Mr. Paul Johnson Jr., aka Gordy Berry. I really appreciate y'all being here. Thank y'all for give yourselves a round of applause for being such great hosts. And I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. All one of you. You. No, let me stop that. I got that from a girl boy Peasy. She do that on her show. I love to see her do that. She do that when she first come in. I love to see her intro. It's so dope. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. And we're going to see you tomorrow, same time, same place. All right. Thank you. Love you and wholeness.